Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Austin Tech Connect. This is the official podcast of the Austin Technology Council. My name is Tom Singer, and I am coming up on 3 years with ATC, and I can't believe it. It went by really fast, and we've been trying to do things a little differently. We're trying to look to what is the future of the Austin Technology Council, and one of the things is really collaborating more with the whole community. One of the things I've done since I've been here is I've worked really close with the Chamber of Commerce, with Austin Women in Technology, with so many different groups around town, because when our different groups that serve our business community come together and work as one, we're all going to succeed more. And so today's show is going to be a little different because we're talking a little bit about that working relationship that ATC has with the Chamber of Commerce, because the Chamber of Commerce has a really important thing going on right now called Austin Gives. And we are joined today by Bobby Jenkins, who is a board member of the Austin Chamber of Commerce, and he is the chair of Austin Gives this year. And he is the owner and president of ABC Home and Commercial. Now, if you've lived in Austin for a while, you've heard their commercials, you've seen Bobby on TV talking about everything from pest control to getting rid of, to helping you with your lawns, to everything else that you need around your home. But Bobby has done nothing but worked in ABC. He went to Texas A&M, and I know some of you will have to forgive him. You can't see this because this is audio only. I am purposely wearing my Texas Longhorns shirt because I knew Bobby was coming on the podcast. That's actually not true. I had just happened to be wearing a Texas Longhorn shirt. I wouldn't have done it on purpose, but it makes me laugh as I'm talking. I'm talking to the biggest Aggie I know wearing a Longhorn shirt, and I didn't even go to school there. Anyway, Bobby, welcome to Austin Tech Connect.
Hey, Tom, thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity to chat, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. And I'll try to, overlook that orange that I'm seeing on the video. But yeah, I am one of those diehard Aggies, that's for sure. But it's really appreciate the opportunity to have a chat.
No, I'm looking forward to this because I think Austin Gives is a really important thing, and I think the tech community needs to embrace that, right? So, but first, as long as we have you here, let's learn a little bit about your career trajectory. You went to Texas A&M. But this was a family business, right? Your father started this business. Tell us about ABC. I knew it when I first got to town as ABC Pest Control. I keep wanting to say that. Tell us about ABC Home and Commercial Services.
Yeah, so we have evolved over the years, Tom, and it's a very interesting business model. But whenever I start talking about ABC, I first talk off, we're a family business. We're one of those multi-generational. The thing that's really cool, I've got my son and son-in-law working in the business today for the next generation. I always tell people I'm recruiting. I'm blessed. I've got 8 grandkids that are here in Austin, and I'm always recruiting them to 2 things. One, to someday work at ABC, and the other is, of course, to go to Texas A&M. Great family business story out of San Antonio originally. I've been here in Austin now 42 years, actually. And you said it right. We started out as just a pest control company, and we've evolved over the last 20 years or so to, we've got lawn services, landscaping, tree services, mechanical services, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. We've got pool services, handyman service. So a very unique business model, one service provider that can essentially take care of everything that you would need done at your home or your place of business. And so it's been an interesting ride. We've grown with the Central Texas market. We now have offices here, San Antonio, back where we went back into College Station, of course, got to be at the center of the universe, up in Wake, Rio Grande Valley, Corpus Christi. So a neat business story in addition to the model that we've built over the years. And we're having fun with it. We love what we do. We've got a great team, and we're excited about the future here, in particularly in Austin, where the home office is.
So, a couple things come to mind. One is I had the honor of getting to speak to the board of directors of the Austin Chamber the other day of sort of an update of what's going on in the tech community, what's going on with ATC and beyond, and the way the tech company's coming. And I singled you out because I knew you. And I said, Bobby, you've got a business that has been directly affected by the last 30 years of the tech growth that has happened. And we talk a lot about this, and we talk about the tech boom and all the different types of technologies and innovation that's happening. But I don't think a lot of people in tech stop and think that directly affects, in a positive way, a company like ABC, right? How has the growth of tech really impacted your whole company?
Tom, it is a giant deal. And that's where we are all connected in the business community. Regardless of what your sector that you're in, when the tech community has boomed and done what it's done and the meaning that it means to Central Texas, I am a direct beneficiary of that, because at the end of the day, I'm about rooftops. Well, when the tech community builds and recruits and new organizations start up, that's what that means. And so each one of those rooftops has a yard and has pest problems, has air conditioning issues. So all of us, and it is just I don't think we talk about it near enough, how interdependent we all are in this community. And what's good for the tech community is good for ABC Home and Commercial Services. It's good for the restaurant that we all like to go eat at, or whatever those services are. We all benefit from each of us being successful. So I'm one of those ones that is very, very, very grateful. While I'm not a technology company, I rely on so much technology to do the work that we do and the business we do, but it's also about the people who work in the tech community, all of the opportunities that they build for so many of the quote Main Street businesses that are here in town. We all are very, very appreciative of the incredible work that's gone on in the tech community and what it really means to all of us here in Austin. And I'll say this also, Tom, when Austin has that reputation as a tech town, I think you actually used that term yesterday, and I'm going to borrow it from you from time to time, because I like the way that I think people can understand that. But that reputation that we have about Austin, you talked about it yesterday. Find me the list that we're not 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 on over all the last 30 years of places to be. I'm very proud of what we've built here in Austin, but I would submit that a giant part of that foundation is what the tech community has contributed to that. So we're all very, very thankful and grateful.
Well, and the other thing you bring up is that you said, well, I'm a home services company, I'm not a tech company, but actually I have a belief now that all companies are tech companies. I imagine in the 42 years since you left A&M that you've been doing this, that in the world of pest control and then HVAC and all the lawn care, all the different things, I believe that technology has probably changed as much in your industry as it has in any industry. How has tech impacted the way you run your business and serve your clients?
It's amazing, Tom, some of the things that has changed that are fundamental. Just the way we perform our service and the way that we communicate with our customer. Obviously back in the day, we had a sheet of paper and an invoice and customers sign it and we go on and do our thing. And the guys would work all day, come into the office the next morning, turn in their paperwork and pick up today's paperwork. Well, obviously that's all changed. Everything is done on our devices. Everything is electronic. When we come out to your house, we're notifying you before we're on our way. Here's a picture and a bio of the technician who's coming out there. We'll be there in X number of minutes. You can follow the route that he's coming. Post-service, we're sending you pictures and WAV files about what we've done. We give you opportunities to submit reviews and to score our services. So, it's just incredible to me, all the different ways, just that little segment of how we communicate, our website, our portals, all of those kinds of things. So, yeah, everything that happens in the technology space has an effect on services that are as, what I would say, fundamental and basic as you might think mine are. But it really changes. It's a game changer. And so how we operate and do our business today is night and day different. And my point on it, too, is that customer experience is so much better today than it was before, because it's all about the transfer of information about what we're doing, right? Reports of what we found, what we've seen, how you can prevent pests, or how you can keep your lawn green, or what we did to the air conditioner, or all of that information. Without technology, we wouldn't be near as capable in communicating that. So it is a night and day experience for our customers doing business with us today versus what it was just even 20 years ago.
And I just think it's a good reminder to everybody that everybody's a tech company, and with all these advances that are happening, and I believe we're about to go through 5 or 10 years of more advances than we've ever seen in our lifetimes combined. However, with all of that, it impacts everybody. And we don't think sometimes, I live in this slice of Austin's business community that we call the tech community. I think sometimes we forget that we are so intertwined to the dry cleaner, to the restaurant, to the home services company. And I think that as a community, I think the more the tech community can embrace the greater business community, and the more the greater business community can embrace the tech community, we're better off. Because there are places, I won't name names, but large cities that might have big bays on the West Coast where their traditional business community and their tech community are often at odds because of what's going on. And I think when we take the attitude that you have that, hey, we're all intertwined and we can all win. If the growth is in tech, others win, et cetera. I think it just makes Austin a better place and adds to our specialness.
Yeah, Tom, I think that's the drumbeat we need to be beating, right? And again, having been here, like I said, 42 years in Austin, I've seen a lot of the change that have taken place here. And the fact of the matter is, I freaking love where we live, right? I love this community. I love what we've become. I'm not one of those ones who laments the olden days. Yeah, we've got a little bit more traffic and a little bit more of this, but man, this is a great place to live. And I submit one of the cornerstones that makes us unique. Yeah, we're the live music capital of the world, and I love that and all this, but that reputation of the technology sector and what they mean to us, we've all benefited from it. And I think that, when you talk about we are one. I view it as we're all part of the same business community. We all do different things, but the more we support each other, the more we do things that promote each other's success, the more successful all of us are going to be. So I love the direction and the voice that you're voicing in that regard.
And one of the ways that we can tie all of this together, sort of a thread that can run through small business, medium growth size businesses, and our large multinational companies, one of the things that we all can have a thread that runs through it is through philanthropy, because all companies can give back. I come from the belief that for those, it's a Bible verse that I'm going to paraphrase poorly, but to whom much is given, much is expected. And I've always believed that when you come along in the business community, regardless of what sector, if you've had success, you've got to find your way to give back to that community. And when I was in my 30s, Pike Powers and Carol Thompson separately both tapped me on the shoulder and said, you're developing a reputation for yourself in the community. What boards are you going to serve on, and how are you going to mentor other people? And that also translates to where are you going to give your time and your treasure back to causes of the community, which leads us to the reason we invited you. Yes, we invited the home and commercial services person on the tech show because we wanted to talk specifically about giving back and a program called Austin Gives. So you're the chair of Austin Gives this year. Could you please give me a little detail? What's the history of Austin Gives? What's the genesis of this?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. And let me just say the chance to talk about Austin Gives is something that I'm very, very passionate about. We're in about our 12th or 13th year of Austin Gives. About that long ago, I was actually chair of the chamber. I'm one of those recycled chairmen who've come back and engaged and involved. And so for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been chairing specifically Austin Gives because I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate, Tom, about businesses giving back. And you said, to whom much is given, much is expected. I'll even take it another step that makes it even more I think okay to say, right? And it's a simple adage that I use: doing good is good business, right? And I don't care what business you're in, but doing good is good business. And by giving back, there's so much win. So we created Austin Gives, like we said, 12 years ago. And the idea is to really, and I'm proud of the chamber for doing this, and we're housed at the chamber today, but putting a spotlight on business doing good and giving back, and businesses making a commitment. And our formula is very, very simple, Tom. It's a commitment to be an Austin Gives company. It says, I'm going to give back 1% of my profits in a year, and it can be in time, talent, or treasure, right? So you can donate services, you can go donate your time to go do work, or you can write a check. But the point is, we want to create, Tom, in the business community, that culture that says, you know what, this is how we do it in Austin, Texas. If you're in the business community, this is what we do. And so we promote, we put spotlight on examples. We have an awards program once a year where we have people who we put that spotlight on them. We share those stories. When I walk away from those events, I learn something, which is really good. But more importantly, I'm inspired by some of the work that so many companies in this community are doing. So that's really what Austin Gives is all about. It's about creating that momentum, creating that movement, that culture in our community that says, you know what, doing good is good business, right? And I've got a real quick, a little philosophy on that I like to share. And it's that, in today's world, in the technology world, is really the beneficiary of, young minds, young passion, young hearts that come into it. Well, I submit that young people are incredible philanthropists. That working for an organization with purpose means so much to young people. So I don't care what segment you're in technology, you're in services, you're in the restaurant world. People want to be associated with an organization that gives back and does good. So that value proposition to the company that you've got now, your staff feels good about working for you, that's great. And obviously, we've got over 7,000 nonprofits here, Tom. And obviously, when we give time, talent, or treasure, they benefit. And I'll say this too. Thirdly, the area that benefits, I think it's good when a business has a reputation in the marketplace of giving back. I think most people would choose to do business with an organization that makes the community better and gives back. So that's where the doing good is good business comes from. And so really, that's what we're trying to do, is really create that movement and that culture here.
So the tech community, for many years, if you go back 25-ish years, there was the Entrepreneurs Foundation. And the Entrepreneurs Foundation was founded, Eugene Sepulveda and a couple other people helped found that. Eugene ran it for a long time. And the idea was that they would start when a company was a startup, and they would ask them to give a small percentage of their stock into a fund. And then when they had an exit, that money could be then self-directed to causes in the community. And the idea was you can't tell people, oh, you got to wait till you're really successful, then you give to charity. It's a muscle that you develop over time. And when the Entrepreneurs Foundation was functioning and doing that, there was a big sense within the Austin tech community that that's who we are. It's what we do. And then the EF also started doing work days where people would show up. And I can remember driving around, because the company I was involved with was volunteering. I can remember driving around different parts of town, and people were working in parks and at schools, and companies would print up shirts, and they would have these big teams. Small companies would have like 5 people out there in their matching shirts. Companies like Dell would have all these people out there in their matching shirts. And it was sort of a pride of tech is more than just making money in Austin. And I think that that's something that we can't lose sight of as we continue to grow and become a much larger metropolitan city. And that's why I wanted to have you on. I promoted it in our newsletter last week. I put it on our social media. I think it's important for the tech community to say, hey, we're part of the business community. And if the business community is giving back and being honored for it, hey, we're giving back. They should be submitting themselves. So with the Austin Gives Awards, right now is the time that companies should be self-nominating or nominating someone who they know and love. How do they do that? I know this is going to be released with just days left. How do they go about nominating and such?
It's really simple, Tom, and it is. You can go to the Austin Chamber website, right, and the Austin Gives part, and self-nominate. And that's if I could make one wish today of what we accomplish, is that somebody hears this week and says, you know what, we're going to nominate this company, or we're going to self-nominate, because there are some great stories out there that we need to be telling. I remember years ago, someone said there's nothing worse than an anonymous donor to something, right? Because no one hears that story. The more that we share stories, share examples, share experiences about philanthropy, the more we each get inspired to do so. So the tech community is one that I really, really want to put a spotlight on and show the great work that they're doing, because it really is. And I've thought about this, particularly since you and I visited the other day. This is the common denominator of all businesses, right? All businesses have a heart for giving back. Well, let's tell their stories. And so we've got all of next week. We can get some more nominations, and I would just love to get several nominations from the tech community, because I really want the rest of the business community, the Main Street businesses, to know, look, the tech community, not only are they here and they're great for all of our businesses, they care about this community. They're giving back. They're making this community better. Let's tell those stories. And as a point of reference, this is the interesting point. while we reside at the chamber, this is a chamber program. The Entrepreneurs Foundation the Entrepreneurs Foundation, the United Way, and the Chamber were the three organizations that came together that started Austin Gives way back 12, 13 years ago. So the heart that you pointed out is there. We migrated to the chamber, but we're all still part of the business community. And you don't have to be a chamber member to nominate and win this award and be recognized. So that's what it's all about, Tom. It's about inspiring each other, telling our stories, and really having that true culture, that true movement that says all businesses care and make this community better.
So I didn't realize that Entrepreneurs Foundation, I thought that was such an amazing organization. I didn't realize that they were one of the ones who founded Austin Gives, which means tech has been at the soul of Austin Gives all along. So it's time the tech community rejoin and reclaim our place in Austin Gives. Is that right?
I love that. Eugene was so supportive back when we first started this. He obviously gets what that is all about. And so it is. Let's bring it all back together. Let's all be part of that.
Nice. All right. So they have till what? What's the new cutoff? I know it's been extended. What's the new cutoff deadline?
June 6th. We got essentially all of next week. And go to the chamber website. And Austin Gives, self-nominate, do a little thought of, hey, what is it that you're doing? Tell us who's the organization? What are you doing? What's it mean to the people in your organization? And again, think about when you nominate and you tell your story, make it a story, right? Make it a story that some of your peers would go, wow, I'm inspired by that story. Make it so that you go, look, we do this. I just can't tell you how many times I've been inspired by stories, and I've taken bits and pieces of what other companies do and say, well, we can do that at ABC. And it makes our philanthropy even better. So that's what we need to do. When we all inspire each other, we all become better. That's the end game.
Well, Bobby, thank you for joining us here on Austin Tech Connect. I think we've had a really interesting conversation. I hope we've inspired a couple of companies to get involved this year. If they don't get involved this year, to be planning ahead for next year, because you guys will be back doing this again next spring. And so, again, everybody who's listening right now, look at what your company does to give back to the community and go and nominate your company and the charity that you give to, because your story really does matter. Bobby, any final words?
Now, Tom, you summed it up great. We want to start this relationship. We think that this is a perfect fit. I am fired up, right? I got fired up hearing you the other day. This conversation is very, very meaningful. And just think about the impact we all collectively can make in our community. I said it earlier, I love Central Texas. I love Austin, but we've got work to do. We can make it better. And quite frankly, I don't look at government to solve our problems. I look at us to solve our problems and our challenges. And let's bring the entire business community to do that, to make this the best community it can possibly be. There's a lot of pride we can all take in that and working together.
Nice. Well, again, thank you for being a guest here. And for everybody who tuned in, now is the time. All of your tech companies, we need you to support the Austin Technology Council, because the work we're doing doesn't stop at the edge of tech. We're working closely with all of the other organizations in town who serve our business community, because when we work together, all ships get raised by that rising tide. Competition is yesterday for these organizations. Collaboration is today and tomorrow. But we, as the Austin Tech Council, can't do this without you, our grassroots. So we're asking you, now is the time to find your way to support the Austin Tech Council so that we can work for you with the rest of the community. So you can find out more information about us at austintechnologycouncil.org. And we're going to be back here with another interview. We'll see you then. In the meantime, go out there and have a great day.